Welcome to 100 Authors in 100 Days, a series where we deep dive into the stories behind the stories, exploring the lives, inspirations, and journeys of authors and their creative works. And with me today, we have one of our very own authors, Ana Maria Magallon, author of the book Un Poquito de Todo, A Little Bit of Everything, a poetry prose book about celebrating our unique Latino voice. Her book is in Spanish and English. If you don't have a copy yet, please go out and get it. It's on Amazon. And I have the honor and the privilege of knowing her personally and having read her book, her manuscript from the get-go. I can tell you that it's a beautiful piece of art and beautiful way that she wrote it. And Ana Maria, how are you today? Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me. I feel very honored to be part of RMT Studio. Thank you for having me today, Adriana. I'm doing well. And yourself?
I'm good. So you and I just got off a call with Frank Carvajal. That was a lot of fun.
Edmund Graham. It was on equity leadership. It was awesome. And I think we had a great conversation, learning about ourselves and about how he reminded me a lot about Gandhi, one of the phrases that has always resonated with me, which is, you must be the change you want to see in the world.
Yes. He had a lot of great insights. So that was really neat just to participate in that. I'm just bringing it up because we just got off the call a little while ago and I thought that was really neat. So anyway, so tell us about your book. Tell us about why you wrote your book and what inspired you to write it.
I wrote my book because I had to write as a child, as a junior higher, exactly 5th, 6th grade. I would wake up in the middle of the night and I needed to write. I mean, I would be dead asleep and then wake up with a desire to write, and always had, a notebook, my libreta right there, and my pen or pencil. And I began to just have a little treasure box of everything I wrote. And then it became such a necessity that sometimes inspiration just hits you wherever you're at. So I would write on napkins. And when we were in Mexico, as you know, I'm a migrant, and I would live 6 months in California and 6 months in Mexico. When we were at a wedding or a quinceañera or something, and back in the day in my pueblo, the butcher would sell us this white butcher paper, and that's what we used as what it would be compared today with your, dollar store. Manteles. I lost the word. The tablecloth. So I would tear off a piece of tablecloth to write a poem that just hit my heart at that very exact moment. And I knew when I became a teacher that I was a writer. I knew that. But I felt I was very young and I needed to read so much more before I could actually become an author. So I think I wrote because I had a need to write, but I published because I have a need to empower other people. And that was publishing my writing. I write for me. I really do write for me because it's a necessity. Es una necesidad que hay en mi corazón y tiene que salir. Y para mí, es mi pasión y sale en lápiz y papel. And, but I publish because I really believe there's power in my story, that there's power in the inspirations that come to my heart. There's power in my passion. And also, as a woman of faith that I am, I was raised to know that my talents were to serve the community. So my publishing to serve others. I want people to dream. I want people to find out who they are. I want people to discover. And that was something, we were speaking with Stedman and Frank Carvajal today about, right? About knowing who you are. And so many times as Stedman was speaking, he says, we live in this society where we're on the clock. It's go, go, go. And you don't have that time to sit and reflect and find out who you are. And I believe that writing is one of those ways that you can discover who you are. And reading definitely is a way that is going to just open your mind to so many possibilities. And in college, I fell in love with the classics. Pablo Neruda, Amado Nervo, Gabriel Garcia Marquez, you name it. I started to fall in love, and then I met Sandra Cisneros, and I wanted to live on the house on Mango Street. And I've always told you, Adriana, you remind me so much of her, and you're such a great writer yourself. So I really want to thank you for this, this opportunity. This is a dream come true, but it's also, how can I tell you, it's it's something I knew was going to happen. I just didn't know when. It's that the certainty, ¿verdad? Esa es la realización de una certeza que ya existía dentro de mi alma.
Wow, that's so beautiful. Thank you about sharing. Thank you for sharing about the butcher paper. I didn't know that. And it's amazing the evolution that I've seen you go through since we first met, and since you joined the book coaching program, and since we've been collaborating on this book of yours. You're not the same person you were when I first met you.
Thank
So,
you.
would you agree that a book changes your life?
Oh, it does. It does. Definitely. I have been able to go out and do some keynote speeches. Two of them that were dear to my heart. One was I was invited back to my alma mater. So I went to speak I did a parent summit for the district, the Riverbank Unified School District. And coming home and being that little girl that lived in a garage and was telling everybody that she was going to study in Hollywood and make a movie and write a book. And, I don't think a lot of people gave 5 cents, digo en español, nadie daba 5 centavos por la chiquilla que vivía en la cochera y les decía a todos que iba a escribir un libro, iba a hacer una película. And here I get to come home. And what have I done? I have studied in Hollywood. I have done a movie. I have written a book too, thanks to you for also inviting me to the Latinas 100, which is a beautiful project that I can't wait for volume 4. And the other one was also dear to my heart, was at our community college here in Modesto Junior College gave me the opportunity to be the keynote speaker for the Latino graduation and to be able to empower other people. But also I was empowered by meeting all these people that were of all different ages. You had mothers, you had fathers, you had young kids, and you had adults graduating, making their dream come true. And that's what I'm all about. I'm all about, hey, dream. I want to empower you. I want you to know that dreams come true because mine have all come true.
Yes. And of course, you know that you inspire so many people. And one of the things that I love about you is that since the moment I met you, you've been very authentic and very raw. Like I don't use the word raw lightly, but you have been an inspiration to me because of who you are. Every time that we connect, it's the way that um, it's the way that you be is the only way I know how to say it, right? I mean, it's totally not proper English, but it's like the way that you be all the time is like, whoa, like you're so amazing. And I knew that eventually when you published it, all these people would recognize that. And sure enough, even through all the testimonials, you can go on your Amazon page and you can look at people who have read the book and who left you testimonials or have posted on LinkedIn or YouTube or whatever social media platform. And people don't just write, oh, it was a great book. I mean, they go into like a long story about how the book and how you as a person impacted them. And so I just totally admire that about you. So it's a mutual respect that we have for each other, and also an honor to have been able to publish you. And I look forward to the next book for sure. So for our final question, what is one thing that you wish to leave to the next generation? And how do you see, in terms of your legacy, how do you see this book leaving a mark as part of your legacy?
As I'm second generation, first generation college grad, but second generation immigrant, right? Because it was migrant season. I always tell them I was only born American because it was tomato season. Had I been born out of tomato season, I would be a Mexican by birth. But now being a mother, to a third generation child that doesn't have the migrant experience, and meeting so many youth who can't at this moment really value that migrant experience because as your children they have so much more than you and I had, right? We've spoken about our humble beginnings and what we went through. I think one of the legacies is that I want these young people to open this book and go, wow, so that's what my mom and dad went through, or that's what my grandma and grandpa went through. I didn't know. And I want them to have a sense of what our story is really like And, I want to share a cute little anecdote. We were driving to Monterey because that's one of my favorite beaches here in California. And we were crossing 156 right by San Juan Bautista. And there's mounds of fields, of cabbage and different, strawberries and things like that. And I had this urge, Adriana, to roll down the window, and I'm going to write, I'm going to write a story on this or a poem. But I had the urge to roll down the window when I saw the field workers. And I just screamed from the top of my lungs. You talk about me being being authentic. And I'm like, que vivan los trabajadores del campo, que vivan los inmigrantes. And I'm waving, and they're waving back at me and smiling. And sorry, I'm getting emotional. And I turn around and I look at our daughter, and then I say, the only reason you're driving in this brand new car and you're going to the beach to stay at a nice hotel is because grandma spent so many hours out there in those fields. And I never, ever want you to forget that. And that's our truth. That is our reality. Si mi madre no hubiera pasado 10, 12 horas, como pasó Panchito, Dr. Francisco Jimenez, who I totally admire. And thanks to him, because I also want to give him and you credit, because this book it wasn't by myself. It was something that without you guys would not have happened. He inspired me. I had, life breaks us. As my song, hay momentos que la vida nos pasa, ¿no? Y hay momentos que el aire no alcanza. Y por mucho tiempo, I stopped writing. I dejé de escribir. I thought I couldn't write anymore. And when I picked up Dr. Jimenez's book, I began to write again. And his story resonates with yours, with mine. And so I'm driving and seeing these migrant field workers and knowing that the only reason I have this wonderful life, again, is because my mother was there 10, 12 hours in the hot sun, in the cold, porque dice mamá que en la uva quebraban el hielo. They were breaking ice to go do what they call la poda, to prune those grapes. And so that's what I want to leave, Adriana. I want to leave a consciousness, but I don't know about you, but to me, when I read, something, it's better than watching the movie. It becomes live, it becomes alive in my heart. It becomes alive in my brain. The words, they touch my heart. And that's what I want to leave, especially to our new generation. I want them never to forget that somebody paid the price for everything they have and who they are. That what we have and what we do, we've never done it alone, because we truly need each other in this world.
Wow, that is so powerful. Wow, I'm like, it's so deep, so powerful. Thank you for sharing that, and I'm with you on that. I also believe that there is a transmission between when a reader reads a book, and there's this, and I'll say it, there's a spiritual transmission between who wrote the book and the words that they wrote, and then how the reader reads it. There's a spiritual transmission that happens. And I really believe in my heart of hearts that when people read your stories and they read your poetry and they read your art, that transmission happens. And that this spirit that you have that lights me up every time I connect with you, that lights other people up, because you can read it in all the testimonials from your book, that's being transmitted. And that's why it's becoming a really popular book. So I want to congratulate you for treading this road with me in the publishing journey, which, as you know, sometimes is not easy and is a lot of work. A lot of people don't realize just how many things need to get done before you publish a book. And for a book to be successful, it's not just a one-time deal. It's a lifelong process to be able to deliver this book to the public and to the world. And it's not a one thing deal. It's a lifestyle when you become an author, because you also become an entrepreneur, a business owner, as you know. So I appreciate you. I want to tell you that I'm really proud of you, and it's an honor to know you. It's an honor to be your friend, and I really, really, really look forward to getting your first 10,000 copies sold, getting you on more stages, and getting more people to know who you are and to know your message. And I'm going to keep replaying what you just shared 5 minutes ago, because it was so beautifully and eloquently stated. And again, I appreciate you. So I'll leave you with the last words, what would you like the audience to know about your book? Where can we get your book, and how can people connect?
We are on Amazon. So in many countries, so not just Amazon US, but you can do Amazon Colombia, Amazon Mexico, Amazon España. Thank you, to all your wonderful work that you've done. And we'll be launching the ebook, which I'm very excited for our new generation who's very techy, that they will have that. And also stay tuned because the audiobook is also coming. And so I'm very excited because, as you and I both love spoken word poetry, I'm excited to be able to speak this book for those who like to listen. I can be very, very auditory myself in my learning. So it's a different joy. One joy is to read and another joy is to listen, and that beautiful interpretation, when it comes from the actual author, I think is very powerful, rather than being read by a computer or somebody who isn't the author of the work.
Yeah.
And you guys can find me on LinkedIn, and like you said, I'm very basic. Instagram, Ana Maria Magallon, Ana with two N's. Like I always said, the nurse was Anglo-Saxon. My mom couldn't write, so I'm Ana Maria Magallon, Ana with two N's. And if you need me for public speaking workshops, empowerment, I'm here. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm easy to find. You can find me on Instagram as well. And I also have a YouTube channel because, I have a passion for making and producing TV shows and different kinds of little tiny films. So you can find me on YouTube as well. And once again, Ana Maria Magallon. You can't go wrong.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining me today, Ana Maria. Big hug, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks for watching.
It's my pleasure, Adriana. Thank you. And I want to say one last thing. All those of you out there inspiring to be authors, RMP Studio is your place. And I'm not saying that because that's where I publish. I'm saying that because that is where I found the most beautiful publishing experience, and where I found, like Adriana said, I'm a very real person. What you see is what you get, but so is she. And to have someone with such professionalism, but with such transparency, it's not easy to find. A lot of people just want to sell you something, and they can pretend to be all kind and nice to you. But Adriana is the real thing, as we say. So thank you, Adriana. Thank you to RMP Studios. And don't forget to get your copy in. Wait for the ebook very soon.
Awesome. Thank you, Ana Maria. Big hug. I'll talk to you soon, okay?
Bye.